up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss. You are watching Going in Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Want to give a quick shout out to the That's Not Scary Ghost podcast starring me and my wife over at youtube.com/That's Not Scary. Also found wherever podcasts can be found. Just search for That's Not Scary, a ghost podcast, and you'll find it right there.
Give a shout out to your own podcast.
I gotta advertise this thing, man. I gotta advertise.
I don't mind you advertising. You're like, give a shout out. I'm like, oh,
yeah, to my podcast.
And then he said, I was like, all right, well, you want to plug? That's fine.
Yeah, it's a shout out. It's a shout out.
All right, yeah.
You're pixel fucking right now.
Go watch a show.
It's fun. Yeah, it's good stuff. We got a lot of stuff planned over there. It's awesome. And you'll make my wife happy. So anyways, I'm sending out the Steve notes. So we've got FC Friendo Club. And if you're a patron or you throw us a Twitch sub, or if you're a YouTube channel member, you get access to my personal notes that I take during each of these wrestling programs. Mm-hmm. And you will then understand why I only really pay attention to like half a show. You'll be like, oh, these notes right here, I understand.
It's a window into a person's soul.
Exactly. It's kind of like if the Unabomber watched Raw every Monday night. That's what you're getting with Steve notes.
Yeah, my notes are more like an accountant watching Raw.
You do yours on the single hand calculator, don't you? Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, while I'm watching the show, I don't even look at my keys.
You're like a stenographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of which, I am in the process right now, as I'm talking, of sending out the Steve notes finally to the YouTube channel members. Those will go out in 5, 4, 3. Oh no!
While you do that, so Raw was on tonight, and it felt every minute of the 3 hours, and it felt like it was definitely written today. It was a bit of a mess. You know, like any episode of Raw, no matter how lousy it is, we'll always have some good segments.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, what?
So I understand there's one thing that really perplexed me.
Oh, is it Retribution?
That's another thing.
Oh, wow.
But I want to talk about this first. Retribution is something that I feel like we've talked about a lot in the past, and we're going to talk about a lot more in the future because they're going to continue to bungle this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a very small thing, a very simple thing.
Okay.
Yet it really threw me for a curveball, and it really upset me. Nikki Cross has new music. That is in no way fitting for her as a character at all.
It's got
period.
It's got lyrics though. It doesn't sound generic.
It sounds like Elias could have been singing it, or it could be Lacey Evans' new theme. It has like a southern rock type feel.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Nothing about it makes me think Nikki Cross. And I understand they got the CFO business that they're trying to, get those out of there and get new songs in here, but there's a measure of consistency you have. You don't have to do another song that sounds exactly like her old theme, which was great. That was like the last vestige of sanity.
It was great, yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, because Killian Dane's probably going to end up using that Drake Maverick pop song now.
Oh, gosh. So, but at least come up with something that is representative, embodies Nikki Cross, the character.
Yeah.
This doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Period.
When she came out to it, I thought that they had simply kept on playing whose ever music was previous, and I was like,
Lacey Evans.
And I was like, oh, did they change up Lacey Evans? No, wait a second. I just heard her theme song. It was like normal. Did they change it to like transition into this? And then Nikki just kept on going. I was like, no, this is her new theme music. It didn't. Yeah, I feel you on it. That was the least of Raw. I don't know. Raw had some cool stuff. Let's start off with something positive.
It had some cool stuff.
Randy Orton and the Fiend are going to fight, man. That's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's cool. A lot of people aren't into it, given what happened the last time they had a program. Let's talk. I mean, you mentioned Retribution. Let's talk about that. Let's get the bad out of the way.
Come on. Let's get some good. Let's start off on a good note.
Why?
Because it's like people are, going in Raw. They're known for being positive and stuff.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying, let's get the bad stuff, the stuff that there was issue with, out of the way, and then we can spend the remainder hour of the show being positive.
What are they doing with Retribution right now?
I don't know. They had an opportunity tonight to kind of right the ship somewhat. So it's an elimination tag match, which we thought we'd get at Survivor Series, but given that Bob Lashley is the U.S. By the way, I totally called NXT not being involved in Survivor Series.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
had the yellow in it, though.
And I said that's not going to happen. The only reason NXT was involved last year because it was going to USA. They're hoping to make a huge splash with NXT at Survivor Series and to try to get one up on AEW. It didn't work. They don't care about NXT anymore.
They had a little sliver of yellow in the graphic.
Maybe they'll get one match, but they're not going to be involved.
Tonight. They stopped the yellow in the graphic.
They had an opportunity to right the ship with Retribution. So it came down to Ali and Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander. Now, if you want to book Ali as like someone to pay attention to,
they don't.
I know, but if you want to, he wins that match. He eliminates Shelton Benjamin and Cedric, which based on the power levels of everybody involved, granted, Mustafa Ali hasn't been on Raw a whole lot. He's been having a lot of really good matches on main event, so I hear, would be completely plausible. And it would actually be, say Ali eliminates Shelton first. And then you get the showdown between Ali and Cedric, given their history together.
Much history.
That could have been really cool. Maybe Ali has to cut a corner or two to get the win over Cedric. It pushes the feud along. Why would Hurt Business bother with Retribution anymore?
I don't know.
And then Ali just runs away at the end. Just runs away.
Yeah. It's like a new level. It's like, what's more chicken shit than chicken shit heel?
The best part is afterwards he has a promo and says, effectively, losses don't matter to us.
Yeah.
We thrive in creating chaos.
I didn't. So like, I knew that he said that after the fact because that's what I saw people saying on Twitter. But like, I literally could not physically, my brain turned off my ears. I didn't know that could happen. As soon as he started talking, I just was with rage like, why do I care what you're saying right now? Why do I care one fucking word what you're saying right now? I don't care. You don't win. You lose always, constantly, forever, always.
They had him try to explain that them losing doesn't really matter. To them, it doesn't matter because they're on a mission.
He at least should
is sowing chaos.
He at least should say, we have ironclad contracts, so all we want to do is like hurt people.
Here's another thing too. He talked about sowing chaos. That's how they ultimately win. Mm-hmm. What chaos have they sown since like the last 4 weeks?
Yeah,
pretty much since Ali joined Retribution. The week afterwards, they weren't on TV.
Yeah. Can I nitpick something on this too?
Please.
Their entrance now that they're not coming through the crowd anymore. It's just like, you remember how when Sanity showed up on main roster?
Totally what it is.
And they ruined it. It was like, what's his face? Kevin Dunn or whatever. Yeah. He got his hands on it. It was like, oh no, I just disappeared. Kevin Dunn's in control of going in wrong.
Let's zoom in and out.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like all of a sudden when Sanity would come out, it was just like their entrance, but like times 11. Like
it was nauseating.
It was nauseating. And like he just is doing the same thing for Retribution. I like their theme song. It doesn't really fit them or what they're supposed to be. But like they come out, it's a good song though. They come out and like the camera, it's just so hokey. It is simply put old ass men trying to like come up with edgy ideas to present them. And it sucks. It sucks. Why is it? Here's the crazy thing. It's funny because I saw this on Twitter while we're going down the dark path here, and we'll get to the positivity in a sec, people.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Let's get the issues out of the way, and then we'll move
on
positive
to positive people. Anyways,
but here's the thing: we're not. I don't feel like either of us are here dumping on it just to dump on it. We want Retribution to be good. We want Ali to succeed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
comes from a place of a deep caring. We don't do it just to be negative. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like this. We're being unreasonably critical.
This is what gets me, dude. This is the thing. Like, it's so funny because Keith Lee, a guy who's beloved by everybody, right?
Absolutely,
has a hard time against Elias and really only wins that match. I think really the way that story was going, unless they would have had him kick out or something, unless in kayfabe he's like strong enough to kick out of whatever Elias is going to do up in the top. So
it'd be a top rope elbow.
Keith Lee, yeah. So Keith Lee gets a win that's tainted by Jeff Hardy. It protects Elias against Keith Lee for some reason, even though Keith Lee should be an unstoppable monster, right?
Yeah.
So of course Twitter then blows up. Well, why can't he just get a clean win? It's so fun. Why can't Ali, now that he's got a big role, why can't he be booked as like an actual threat with his group of villains, right? And then I go and I'm like, just out of curiosity, because somebody tweeted at me and said, yeah, but why do WWE fans continue to watch? Here's the funny thing. I looked up just out of curiosity. It was like just 2 years ago, which feels like nothing, like 2018. We were in the office. I think we were like brand new in the office. We were having a good time, right? Mm-hmm. Raw this week will be lucky to crack 1.7 million average, right? Total viewership. 2 years ago, this article on Sportskeeda pointed out a new low for Monday Night Raw. Viewership is down 12% from last week's show, which last week's show, the first show of May 2018, averaged 3 million viewers. So that week, May 9th, or May 8th rather, Raw drew 2.7 million.
So
that's a million
today,
less.
That's huge.
Or
that's
more
huge.
than it is now.
Yeah. Brandon Thurston, WrestleNomics, from WrestleNomics. I think his name's Brandon Thurston. He posted a series of graphs from Google Trends over the last few years. Of search results. And there's normal ebb and flow across basically every other sport or sporting industry. And then except for WWE, which is a steady and slow descent downward to the current day.
He posted
of interest in terms of Google searches about WWE.
This is going to make some people mad, but he posted another graph kind of similar to that in terms of search terms and stuff. And when that really kicked off, when the downward trend really fell off a cliff, it was Jinder. As soon as Jinder Mahal became champion, if you look at their search term, searchability stuff or whatever it is, it falls off a cliff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's that kind of stuff. When you have wrestlers that you sign and you build in NXT to the point where it's like, man, something about Keith Lee really connects with people. I mean, this is not a knock on Elias necessarily. I don't really care about him. There was a time when I thought he was pretty funny and I liked his thing, but it just sort of hit a ceiling, and from then I just didn't care. But nobody's out there saying, why can't Elias get a win? Nobody's saying that. People want simple things. Keith Lee is a popular guy. You can make money with putting him as a top guy. Why don't you just do it? Why don't you just give him quality wins? Why do you job him out to guys like Braun Strowman, even if it was a low blow? Why does he have to struggle? I mean, you can have him struggle because it's interesting storyline-wise, but why is it he's struggling against a guy like Elias?
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. Mustafa Ali, who is beloved, and people want to see him succeed, and you have the ingredients for something really great with Retribution. You have amazing talent. You've got a premise that has worked before, and you can tweak it a little bit to make it its own thing. Mm-hmm. You've got a decent name. Retribution's an okay name. But they just don't. People tune out when they see this crap, and then some of them don't tune back in, to the tune of over 2 years, 1 million people
more than
plus. And I know COVID had something to do with it, but the NBA had great ratings in their bubble.
Well, here's the thing. The WWE's ratings were already in a downward trajectory even before COVID.
Yeah, they were. It was like 5 million average viewers in 2015 or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's been a sharp drop.
Some of that could be explained by there's more TV options, but that's been the case for almost a decade now,
So do we sound a little bit like JD right now? Maybe.
No, because we're not being unreasonable. We're not saying anything's garbage.
Shots fired. Garbage.
We're not saying anything's garbage.
JD's always been very nice to us in person.
He's always been
and he's always been really cool. Yeah. He's got his thing, and that's totally fine. I have actually heard his defense on why people say, why are you so big? And it's similar to what you just said, which is because I care about wrestling. I want it to get better. That was a really good JD, by the way. Anyways, so let's talk about something positive. I'm excited about this. Randy Orton versus The Fiend. Did you say that you saw some pushback on this on Twitter?
Yeah, there's some people on Twitter I saw saying, well, like it went so well the first time. Here's the thing, though. This is a lot of it Randy
did.
Orton.
It just the last bit didn't.
Yeah, a lot of it was good until we said if the end result of this is boring face Randy Orton, this is gonna be garbage all for naught. And of course, we got boring face Randy Orton at the end of it. So the end result was garbage, but a lot of the build was actually pretty good. This is a different Randy Orton, a way different Bray Wyatt. They already several times tonight referenced the previous feud. If it's a situation where Bray more or less outwardly says, not only coming in kind of a meta sense, not only am I coming for redemption, getting that title back that you took off me, Randall Keith Orton, I'm coming from redemption. Again, like a meta sense, creatively, because the last time it was such crap, or the end result was such crap. I'm coming to give myself and the viewers out there a more satisfying creative experience than we did last time.
If any post Performance Center feud deserves, I'm not going to say needs, but warrants a cinematic match. I would love to see this because I'll be, the whole Randy Orton, a lot of what they did or some of what they did back then during that feud was cinematic. I mean, you had the House of Horrors match.
Yeah.
That was a cinematic. Randy Orton burning down the house was filmed cinematically. So there's a lot they can do with this feud. I really like it. And I really like that Drew hasn't simply moved on. So it might be more likely that this is going to end up being a bit of a triple threat feud and maybe they're devising that to protect everybody involved because you're more likely to sort of make everybody look better.
Yeah, and I also like that Drew was almost kind of like, all right, at the beginning of the show, all right, Randy got the better of me. He brings up the Rocky. Might as well get into it. Yeah. So he comes out and he's like, truth is, no excuses. I lost, but I promise you I'll be champ again. He brings up this Rocky quote. It's not about how hard you get hit. It's not about how hard you hit, about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. And he says, yeah, I might seem like I'm in a good mood, but if you could read my mind right now, you'd be scared. But it seems like he's kind of obviously torn about losing the title, but he's come to terms with it to a degree. Anyways, Miz and Morrison come out and just talk a bunch of crap. Miz hypes himself up, and it seems like that encounter lights a fire under Drew. It's like everybody thinks I'm a chump now. Everybody thinks they can come out here and run their mouth and get away with it.
He's warning them the entire time because they go on and on and on. And he's like, don't do this. And then Miz finally, like Morrison said, oh, it's probably going to take you another 19 years to get your next title. And then Miz gets up in his face and talks some more crap. And then he doles out a headbutt to Miz and then a forearm to Morrison and then throws Morrison like across the ring. I forget if it's once or twice.
Twice, yeah.
Okay, twice. He does it again like later on during his match with The Miz. It was great. Morrison is so great at selling, dude.
Oh, man.
So yeah, and then they go scurrying off. Drew stomps on Miz's sunglasses, and as he's sort of he's got sort of a bit of a Drew maniacal look on his face and said, "Oh, I've got a great idea for tonight. I got to talk to management about this one."
It's going to be a bad night for Miz and Morrison.
Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. I did like though that they're chumps. But they were stepping up to Drew, and I don't know if this is going to satisfy your path of Miz looking more legit and less bumbling, because they did kind of look a bit bumbling tonight.
Yeah, they did, and Miz got his ass kicked later on. If it weren't for interference from John Morrison, it'd probably been a lot worse. They stepped up to someone who they thought was broken and defeated. However, Drew is not broken. He is not defeated. It's a tactical error on Miz's part. Hubris, arrogance.
Here's where I think it's more interesting, though. This is why I like all these elements. You've got Orton. You got Drew. They're not done. You got the Fiend. Who the hell knows what he's going to bring into it? If anybody is savvy enough and opportunistic enough to take advantage of all these combustible elements and somehow end up with the title, Miz is your guy.
I don't know, man. Of what we've seen of him lately, I don't have that much faith in him.
Could it? I mean, is it? I'm sure. I'm almost positive that Vince McMahon has not decided yet. He didn't put this contract on Miz thinking this is a sure cash in. He's going to get the title.
If he's looking for a sure cash in, he probably wouldn't have put it on the Miz.
But he put it on him as a possibility.
Here's the thing too. I was thinking about this morning. We're taking the long road to get to this Raw recap, but this is something I thought about this morning. So, if anybody who was actually in the Money in the Bank match had any claim to that briefcase apart from Otis, it would be AJ Styles. He was on SmackDown at the same time as Otis. Mm-hmm. He could have easily had AJ with Joseph Park, have him be his lawyer, come in and say, to make the same argument the Miz has. The only difference between AJ and Miz is AJ doesn't have the experience of being a prior Money in the Bank winner. And I understand that adds extra dimension to the Miz aspect of things. I get that.
Oh, that's so superficial, though. I agree with you 100%. This really should have been AJ. Because
if AJ, pulled the strings, bribed JBL to get the briefcase, oh, shit, AJ Styles, Mr. Money in the Bank, he can cash in whenever. It'd be totally believable.
Yeah.
Just the way they've been booked in the Miz the last 6 months or so, he and Morrison are a couple of bumbling fools 90% of the time. And what I saw tonight didn't necessarily change that.
Fair enough. After that, we had AJ. So it was announced at that point that, and then it was later on, the full width and breadth of Survivor Series. We're getting champion versus champion. Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. Oscar versus
NXT,
Sasha
though.
Banks. No NXT, despite the little sliver of hope they gave us with the yellow color in the graphic. Street Profits versus The New Day. Sami Zayn versus Bob Lashley, which Sami is itching to bring back the sisters.
Tom Phillips referenced the sisters.
Oh,
Bob
yeah,
Lashley's
okay.
sisters tonight. And then Asuka versus Sasha Banks. I don't know if you mentioned that, but that was announced too.
And then there will be Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. And for both men and women, we got most of those teams figured out.
We got 3/5 of the Raw team and all the women's team. Yes,
so we can speculate who's going to be left on those teams.
Speaking of, they had 3 qualifiers to fill out the men's team. First one was AJ Styles. So Louis Dangor of Wrestle Talk, when they announced these matches, made a point that all 6 men competing in these matches tonight, none of them were on Raw prior to August. So Keith Lee is the longest tenured superstar of any of them competing in these matches tonight.
That's funny. That is hilarious. Well, okay. This isn't really a defense of this, because I agree with the concept that it's kind of silly. But AJ Styles, he's a bad guy. Why would he have brand loyalty? Sheamus, bad guy. Why would he have brand loyalty?
Elias, bad guy. He should only have loyalty to himself.
Wait, Elias lost.
I know, but he was in the
yeah. I mean, Keith Lee, like you said, longest tenured member of Raw. It feels like he got here yesterday.
Yeah, he's been on Raw for 2 months.
But, hey, NXT's not involved. This is my brand. This is my home. I want to prove something.
Of any of the 6 of them makes sense. Keith Lee does.
Yeah.
Everybody else has been on SmackDown for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So,
why should they care?
So their are you Raw? Their motivations wouldn't really line up. If it was like a bunch of faces, and that's one. And I know that in previous brand versus brand, multi-man or multi-person matches, it hasn't always been it's been like a mix of heels and faces. I get that. And they still come together for brand loyalty. But, AJ Styles, especially with Jordan behind him, man, he's been doing some really fun work. We got a promo for him. He's saying he should be Survivor Series Team Raw captain. He's like, who do I have to prove myself to? Adam Pearce, the ham and eggers in the back. He says, and then he sort of pivots and talks about his associate. He's like, take one look at him. Well, you know what? People don't like. He doesn't like people talking to him. He doesn't like people looking at him. And then he pivots to Jeff Hardy, calls him a cheater. Says, if you try to do to me what you did last night to Elias, my associate won't like it. So they have their match. Jeff Hardy comes out. They have their match. Our first commercial cliffhanger is Jeff Hardy launching himself out of the ring and getting caught by Jordan, and Jordan sort of looks funny at him, and then we go
we
to
don't
commercial.
See anything else?
So there wasn't even. I was like in the kitchen. They didn't have a replay of like what Jordan did with Jeff Hardy after that.
No, like go to the commercial cut. During commercial, have Jordan ram into the ring post or something.
Good to see Jordan has the knees and ankles to catch a guy, and like the understanding of where you need to be planted. Yeah, your base. Because now every time somebody's supposed to catch somebody outside, I think of Rich Holland. And Jordan's a tall dude. Or I was half expecting tonight one of the video from Rex Chapman's Twitter feed to go down. Oh boy, I can't get out of my head, Larson.
No, I can't either. And that's basically the first thing I saw this morning. It's a decent enough match.
Yeah.
You were expecting Elias to cost Jeff Hardy. I saw your tweet. Cost Jeff Hardy this particular bout. He did not. No. Jeff Hardy took the L clean as a whistle.
Okay, so how much of a distraction was Jordan to Jeff Hardy in this finish?
He just stood there.
Because it didn't really look like much of a distraction. Because commentary kept on saying, "Oh, the distraction of Jordan," and I was like,
stood there.
He just ate this thing clean.
He just stood there, and then Hardy was slow to get to the top rope. Yeah, but that didn't lead directly to the finish.
Right,
there were a couple moves in between.
All right,
and then Elias came in after the match after AJ won with a phenomenal forearm, and then he destroys a guitar over Jeff Hardy's back. After that, we had our Truth interview. He's talking about everybody at Hell in a Cell wanting to get their hands on the 24/7 title. And so tonight's Lucha House Party versus Tozawa and Drew Gulak. He says he's going to be out there scouting his competition. He says being the 24/7 champ is dangerous. He eats dangerously, sleeps dangerously. His third middle name is Dangerously. Yeah. It was good stuff.
It was funny stuff. After that, we had Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa in tag team action versus the Lucha House Party. During this match, R-Truth came strutting down to scout his competition because he's feels emboldened now. Of course, they all take shots at him. The ref doesn't even. So, like, there's shenanigans on the outside where Truth takes it, I think, to like Drew Gulak. Ref doesn't stop this match, and commentary starts laughing about it too. This match continues. This match is still going. Everybody's trying to get R-Truth. Lince Dorado tries to hit a splash from the top onto Truth, but Truth ducks. So Lince ends up landing on Gulak and gets 3. At that point, everybody's going after Truth. They keep on rolling him up. He survives all of them and runs off.
Yep. After that, we had Firefly Funhouse. And so it starts out with a bunch of the puppets, especially Huskus eating a bunch of sweets. There's a bunch of sweets laid out in front of them. And then Bray, dressed as the Mad Hatter, welcomes us to the Mad Tea Party.
Was there something significant about his contact lenses being so blue? He had the most blue contact lenses in his eyes. And I was like, he's not part of brand warfare. Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Special guest was Alexa, and she brought some tea. When she comes in, Abby says, "Off with her head." Another Alice in Wonderland reference. Alexa pours some tea for Rambling Rabbit. He thinks it's quite delicious. Alexa says, "Oh, you want to know what's in it? Strawberry, peach, sugar, and a secret ingredient, arsenic." And then Rambling Rabbit basically throws up all over himself.
That was disgusting. That was so nasty.
It looked like marmalade.
Clay, marmalade.
It was gross.
So, yeah. He says...
Bray says, "Well, you're fitting right in. We're all a little mad down here." And Alexa asks him, "How do you know I'm mad?" And Bray says, "Well, because you found yourself down here in the funhouse. This is where you're comforted. He, Fiend, of course, protects you. There's only one thing you have to do." And you go close on Alexa. She closes her eyes, open them, and then she has contacts in it too.
But they're like red and white.
Yeah, they're all creepy looking. She goes, "Let him in." And so she comes to and says, "Oh yeah, by the way, Orton's going to be on Moment of Bliss." And it cuts to Bray, and he hears like the sounds of like screaming and structures on fire and stuff.
And then behind him is like framed, because he's sort of framed to like screen right. And you can see in the background there's a painting of his house on fire when Randy Orton burned it. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool stuff. I actually really liked Alexa's transition to Firefly Alexa. And I'm kind of curious. I really hope that they get Tom Savini to get her a mask. I think that could be really, really cool. I think she's doing really good work so far. After that, if I'm not mistaken, Keith Lee interview, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so he's asked,
this is really good too.
How are you going to bounce back from having your dick hit by Braun? Questionable tactics, I think Charlie says. And he's like, questionable? He's like, there's nothing questionable about it. He hit me below the belt. He says, I know Braun likes to call himself a monster, but the next time I face him, I'm going to show him a real monster. He says, but not tonight. Tonight's about destroying Elias. So prepare yourself. I'm about to walk with Elias.
After that, we had a quick bit. Shayna, Nia, Adam Pearce backstage. They had Adam Pearce, the list of who they want to join them on Team Raw at Survivor Series. And then they kind of argue about who's the captain. Mm-hmm. And then Nia has a really short list. Mm-hmm. And then Shayna has a really long list. Yeah. But Nia is not on Shayna's list. And at the end of this, Shayna asked Nia, was I on your list? And Nia just goes, you wish. Their back and forth is really
I really like their pairing. They're really good. So after that, we had Elias versus Keith Lee. It kicked off with an Elias promo. He has a new album. WWE stands for Walk with Elias. And then I think he was about to debut a new song. Is that right? And then he got interrupted?
Yeah, then Keith Lee interrupted him.
Yeah, so he did that. Our second commercial cliffhanger was Keith Lee pouncing Elias over the commentary announce table. Elias at one point after the commercial break hit a really weird botchy looking neck breaker. Keith Lee kicked out.
Commentary was trying to sell that as a drift away.
Is that what it was supposed to be? That didn't look like. Okay.
It looked like your standard issue swinging neck breaker.
I think Keith Lee thought it was going to be a clothesline, and then realized at the last second it was supposed to be a swinging neck breaker.
Oh, maybe.
Anyways, so Lee's down on the ground. Elias goes up for an elbow, but Jeff Hardy's music hits. Elias just sort of sits up there and he's like, and then Keith Lee goes up, takes advantage, hits a spirit bomb on Elias for the win. As why do I have this at 3? That's not a 3-star. It was actually a pretty decent match. I'm gonna give that 2.5 though. Jeez, 3's a lot.
Yeah, it was a competent wrestling match.
It was a solid wrestling match.
It was fine. So after Elias takes the L, Jeff Hardy comes out, clobbers Elias with guitar from behind. Mm-hmm. Then we get a quick bit of Hurt Business backstage. They're walking. Some dude rolls up to him. And MVP's all, where are you going? And this guy says, I'm just wanting to use the bathroom. And MVP says, that's our bathroom. Did you ask? And dude just falls over.
He just throws himself on the floor. That was odd.
Yeah, he just takes a flat back bump because he's out of fear.
I wonder if he was one of the writers I wonder if he's helping MVP write Hurt Business stuff. Because I heard this weeks ago when Otis was, I think, served one of the times. Mm-hmm. It was by a woman, and it was, what's her face? The writer of the Otis Mandy stuff. Oh. I didn't realize that when I watched it, but then somebody on Twitter mentioned, I was like, oh my God, that's totally her. And so I wonder if they do this with
maybe
the writers or their intern or PAs or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. After that, we had a Randall Keith Orton interview. He's asked, are you concerned about the Fiend making an appearance tonight? He says, I got nothing to be concerned about. I'm now a 14-time champion. End of the day, there's only one Randall Keith Orton. The only people who need to be concerned are those. And then my internet cut out. I didn't hear the punchline to the whole thing.
The only people who need to be concerned are the ones that cross Randy Orton.
Okay.
That's what he said.
All right. And that brought us to Hurt Business versus Retribution. So here's the thing. So we got MVP being eliminated because Mia Yim thought she had spiders all over.
So first off, you got a Survivor Series match that's not taking place in Survivor Series.
But Bob Lashley has a champion versus champion match.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
So that's fine.
All right.
So Mia Yim. So before the match, MVP has a promo. It was actually pretty good, comparing Retribution in business lingo. Raw is an asset to Hurt Business. Retribution is a liability.
That's good.
And yeah, it's good. MVP says, like any good businessman, you don't do anything for free. So they offered to take care of Retribution, but now we're looking for payment once we're done. And Shelton says they want their payment in gold titles. So Mia gets on the apron and she starts scratching her arms. And then it's like, get him off me. She gets, she falls on the mat and is like kind of writhing around, scratching and like saying, get him off me, get him off me. And that allows Slapjack to roll up MVP from behind. Retribution, they have the upper hand.
The ref. It's funny too because the ref kept on shouting at Mia. He called her by her name, Mia.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of awkward to say reckoning. I know. Reckoning. What are you doing, reckoning?
Or hey.
Yeah. Hey you. Yeah.
And so during the commercial break, they show the picture-in-picture. Mia faked the whole incident. Ref tosses her. And so Lashley hits Slapjack with the spear. Slapjack is eliminated. Now is 3-3. T-Bar is in. They're brawling. They get to the floor. They brawl. They brawl over the barricade. They brawl backstage. Double count out. Both eliminated. It's like, okay, Lashley's like major threat of Hurt Business.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He's like the champ.
Mm-hmm.
He's the most dominant force in Hurt Business. So like, okay, the path is clear for Retribution to pick up this W.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I thought Mace would soften up Shelton, even if he doesn't win, soften up enough. Ali gets in there, eliminate Shelton, and then we get this great one-on-one between Ali and Cedric.
Makes
the story
it writes itself. It writes itself.
Instead, Cedric is working over Mace a bit, hits her neuralizer. Shelton tags himself in, hits pay dirt, bang, Mace is eliminated. And like Shelton's basically full strength.
Mm-hmm.
Cedric's basically full strength. Ali runs in, tries to break up the pin. He's too late. Has to stop at his tracks, because he's like, oh, damn, it's a 2-on-1 situation here. So it's him and Cedric to begin. And then Ali drop kicks Shelton off the apron. And then Cedric like backdrops him 8 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Boots him out of the ring. And then Ali just hit Cedric with a chair.
You have demonstrated. And then
Hurt Business comes out and he runs away.
You have demonstrated in the past that you have like 18 other people in hoods that could come out and give you a sneaky win.
Here's the thing. What did Dijak say about that? He said that we took the contracts with WWE to pay our hired guns to do our dirty work. Mm-hmm. Maybe now after they signed the deals, they realize these deals ain't worth anything.
Yeah.
They're getting paid such a pittance. They can't afford to hire the hired guns any longer.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is, man. I don't know. I mean, look, if Vince really likes the Hurt Business, I'm all about it. I really love the Hurt Business. They're like one of my favorite factions in WWE right now.
Oh, they're so good.
It's awesome. Like, but here's the thing. They are enhanced by having their backs up against the wall a bit, having to put on fights. There's no drama. It makes them less interesting for them just to be so dominant over what should be, what has been presented as what's supposed to be a threat. I don't care. Like, can they be saved? Sure. Start writing them right, and you can save them. Sure.
They could have saved them tonight. They could have done it tonight.
They could do it every single week for the past 2 months. It could have been done. They just refuse to, and it makes me not give a crap.
Yeah, it makes me irritated. It makes me really irritated. Especially now that Ali is part of the faction. Because I like Mustafa. I like Hurt Business a lot. Hurt Business has been doing great work for months. And I don't think that's going to stop whether they're involved in Retribution in this feud or not. But Ali was on the sidelines. I've said this countless times. Ali was on the sidelines for so long, wrestling on main event. He's given potentially a good spot in a story that seemed like they were doing something with, maybe, only come to find, well, first of all, we should have known after he joined Retribution or was revealed as leader, he wasn't on Raw the next week.
Like, how is
that doesn't bode well.
How is it there's a guy who can come up with Killer Cross's entrance, and then there's a guy who comes up with Retribution's entrance? It ain't the same guy.
Triple H does that in NXT, probably.
You're probably right. Now you're catching up to me. Ooh. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, you're probably right. One guy's Kevin Dunn, the other guy's Triple H. Yeah, it boggles my mind. Like, it just, I don't get it. It's like, you have the resources, you have the ability to put on a groundbreaking show, and there is good stuff. I really enjoy anything Bray Wyatt puts his hands on. I like it. But if you want me to sit there for 3 hours, you got to give me your all every time. Every time out the gate, you got to give me your all.
Maggie says, I wish they would bring in his hacker skills more into the narrative. I know. They mention it. When are they going to cut something on the Tron that's incriminating for some member of the Hurt Business?
Yeah.
Distract them. They get a win that way. It's the easiest thing. It's the easiest damn thing.
You're not really sowing any chaos. You're not doing it. If that's your MO, you're not doing that.
No, they haven't done it since last month.
Using your strength in numbers to make WWE's enforcers, the Hurt Business, look bad would be causing some amount of chaos. It'd be causing headaches for this company you hate so much. You're just looking like assholes.
Now they're barely an annoyance to Hurt Business.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely. It's just not good storytelling. It's not.
After that, backstage, Angel Garza is trying to hit on Mandy and Dana Brooke. Then he sees Nia, and he hits on her, gives her a rose. And Shayna's like, ew, he's gross. And then we had Drew McIntyre versus The Miz. The Miz was getting his ass kicked. Morrison, while Drew was on the outside, tries to hit Drew with the briefcase, but Drew boots it out of his hands, then throws it up to the stage.
That was fantastic.
That was really good. Then he throws Morrison like a good
almost
15
as far as he
feet.
Threw,
yeah,
almost as far as he threw the briefcase.
Yeah, he chucked him. And then Miz goes for a roll up. Drew gets out of that, hits a Claymore for 3. They're fended off pretty easily. Drew was just laughing his way through the whole thing.
Yeah, even with a bum knee, Drew kicked out of a DDT at 1.
Mm-hmm.
Hit some moves and then still kips up.
yeah, he was selling that knee, and he did that. That's funny.
After that, we had New Day promos all about poking fun of the Street Profits. They're hyping their Survivor Series match, and Kofi is doing the Sleepy Dawkins thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny. So Asuka walks in. She says, "We want the smoke." She's got a match against Sasha at Survivor Series. Also, you got Randy versus Roman, traditional tag matches. Hurt Business walks in, hypes Lashley versus Sami Zayn. And then MVP says, by the way, we got our sights set on those tag titles. Asuka talks some crap to Hurt Business and then leads the New Day Rocks chant. I like that they even went so far to have New Day do the thing that Street Profits used to do, hype up shows to poke fun at them.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, after that, we had a Drew McIntyre interview. Basically, he'll take whatever steps that are necessary to win his title back. After that, and then he was like, doesn't Randy have Moment of Bliss tonight? Ooh. After that, WWE officials Adam Pearce and Pat Buck are there to announce the... I like this. So in kayfabe, here's the thing. It could be these guys are now the heads of Raw and SmackDown.
They're the committee.
They're the committee, right, of both shows. So they're tasked with putting on the best show. And they're like, well, everybody likes brand versus brand. Let's do brand versus brand. It's like, well, we just had the draft. Look, we're new on the job. We're just trying to do something fun here.
Vince told us to do brand versus brand. We got to do brand versus brand.
We got to do brand versus brand. So anyways, he says, here are the women. We're going to announce the women representing Raw at Survivor Series. Nia Jax and Shayna, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. And then Nia's like, hold on a second. Why want to, as the captain of the team, the 5th person should be announced by the team captain. That's me. And Shayna's like, no, I'm the team captain. They start arguing over that. And then Adam Pearce, Scrap Iron's like, hold on a second. The 5th person is going to be decided by a fatal 4-way that starts right now. And here are the competitors: Lana, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Nikki Cross with Larson's new favorite theme music.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
Dreadful.
The
song itself isn't terrible. It's just so ill-fitting for Nikki.
Doesn't really suit her.
Doesn't suit her at all.
On the other hand, if this is something she chose, maybe she likes it. Maybe she's into it. I'm going to give it a shot. We had a cliffhanger ending on Nikki falling to the outside.
Love these. You love these.
I do. I'm sorry. A cliffhanger commercial on Nikki falling to the outside. We come back and we don't know how that's resolved.
I was just really happy. Like, we were texting back and forth about this match, and I called the ending.
Yeah. So what was our back and forth on that one?
You said either Nikki's going to win this or Lana, because she's been going through the table so much. And I said, no, Lana's going to win, then go through the table.
So, yeah. Unfortunately, your prognostication skills.
I woke up today basically Nostradamus after snoozing on the predictions front for the better part of the year.
Yeah, I'm losing. My tea leaves are going soggy. So I think at Survivor Series you have a decent chance of picking up Big Red there.
We'll see. That remains to be seen.
I mean, Lashley clearly is going to beat Sami Zayn. I feel like Sasha is going to beat Asuka. Bailey's going to cost Sasha.
Yeah. I feel like
somebody's going to cost. Any number of people are going to cost Randy the Roman match.
Regardless, so Roman's winning that one.
Mm-hmm,
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Raw women's team is getting off to a really bad start. So Lana wins. She takes advantage of a bunch of stuff going on. Gets the win after Nikki and Lacey and Peyton do kind of like a Tower of Doom thing.
Mm-hmm.
She tosses Peyton Royce out of the ring, covers Nikki for the win. And then Nia seems like really happy. She's clapping for Lana. Says, "Come on, give me a hug." Embrace, but then she doesn't let go. And then she directs Shayna to clear off the announce table.
Yeah, she's holding her. She won't let her go. She goes,
"Oh,
go ahead and clear it. Clear the table."
It was
funny stuff. And Shayna was like, "Okay." Reluctantly, she's like, "Okay, we're going to do this."
It was really good. And she put her through the table.
I really liked it. That was funny stuff.
Although, it'd be pretty crazy if this whole thing was built up. Lana gets Team Raw the win.
I would love that. That would be great. Shayna and Nia, they've basically become the women's APA, which is all I've ever wanted for anybody, is to become the new APA. That's basically what they are. So after that, we have Randy Orton
interview.
He doesn't care that the Fiend is going to be there. That moment of bliss, probably.
Once the Fiend was there, it did seem like Randy Orton cared quite a bit. He just about crapped his pants, man.
Yeah, he was all paranoid walking out there, too. He wouldn't even sit down next to Alexa Bliss. Great. After that, we had Matt Riddle and Sheamus trying to put on a match of the year.
You forgot a part, Steve.
What'd I forget?
The Ali promo.
Oh, no, because Matt Riddle came out first. For the qualifier. Yeah, I had the match listed. But before the actual match, we had a Mustafa Ali promo. I just have written down here my Steve notes. No one fucking cares. You lose always. You are the definition of buried. So I don't know what he said.
No, he pretty much said, it doesn't matter if we win. We win when you suffer. And we win when they will win because they decide when you will get shut down.
So they're winning because I hate how they're being booked?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's deep. That's really deep stuff. After that, we had the actual match. Matt Riddle versus Sheamus, 6-star Tokyo Dome affair.
This was hard-hitting, man.
The commercial cliffhanger featured a wrestler falling to the outside. All the commercial cliffhangers have featured a wrestler.
That's how it always happens.
Falling to the outside.
That's how it always happens, man. Someone takes a bump. Now, I'm so conditioned on any WB product when someone takes a bump to the floor.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to hit the fast forward if I record it because I know a commercial break is coming.
I know I'm about to see the new Pub Burger commercial for Wendy's. Or, even better, the most ill-named product on the market, Nugenics. I'll never forget. I was sitting there watching Raw, and that commercial comes on. Lacey pipes her head up. Did they just say eugenics? I'm like, no, Lace, it's Nugenics. She's like, why would anybody name their company Eugenics?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
This was a really fun match, hard hitting. It looked like Matt Riddle was about to pull out the win. However, Sheamus was working over his back too much. Riddle goes for a bro Derek. His back gives out. Sheamus hits him with the bro kick to get the W. He is now part of Team Raw along with Keith Lee and AJ Styles.
That was a hella good match, though.
It was hard hitting, man.
It was a really good match. Yeah. So after that, we had a moment of bliss. I really liked Alexa's transition to Firefly Funhouse. Alexa, I thought it was pretty
did you notice that her theme is slightly different?
I did notice that, yeah.
And it was subtle, and it was very well done.
I just really wonder.
A little ominous bass in there.
Dude, you want to go all the way with this? Give her. She doesn't need a mask necessarily. Some other visual cue. And, hey, I would not complain if they got whoever did Bray's theme to do a version of
a metal version of hers.
That would be rad.
That'd be something else.
So anyways, Randy comes down. He's looking pretty paranoid, looking around and all behind the LED screens. And she asks, she's all being very bubbly. Says, did it surprise you that you were able to deliver such a super duper performance at Hell in a Cell? And he's like, and he won't sit down. He's standing there. She's like, Randy, you can have a seat. And he's like, no, I think I'll stand. And he says, what is there for me to be surprised about? I wasn't surprised. Alexa, do you want to talk about surprises? Do you have one for me? And she's like, no, I don't have any surprises, especially after last night when you and Drew McIntyre burned the house down. And he says, and there it is. Burn the house down, huh? Listen, I know Bray Wyatt better than anybody. I know that he's close. So I'm going to ask you this one time. Where is the Fiend? Alexa just starts laughing. Drew McIntyre's music hits. He comes down with a head full of steam. They start fighting. Alexa Bliss goes up to one of the turnbuckles and just laughing the entire time. Drew's tossing all the furniture out of the ring. He's really beating the crap out of Randy. He loads up in the corner for a Claymore. The lights go down. The Fiend stuff happens. And then the red lights come back up. Randy has made his way up the ramp. Drew is still in the ring. And as Randy is backing his way up the ramp, he stops and he just sort of puts his head down because he feels what is behind him. He senses it.
Barely turns his head.
Orton
just
senses.
So you could maybe get a little glimpse of the Fiend in your peripheral vision.
It's the thumbnail for this episode. I capped it.
But he doesn't ever turns around. He looks at Drew, heavy sigh, and he goes with the devil he knows, man.
Mm-hmm.
He goes back to the ring to fight Drew rather than have to deal with the Fiend.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They brawl some more.
Yeah.
It was really good. I really like how they sold that. Where Orton had an opportunity to, deal with demons from his past, or just, as I said, deal with the devil he knows, and he went with the devil he knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really good stuff. So yeah, I didn't. My internet cut out.
Oh, okay. So he goes back. He and Drew brawl or all around the ringside.
Okay, so I saw that. I just didn't see when the lights came back up, because it went from red to normal lights. So
when Randy goes back down to the rings, walks back towards Drew, lights come back up.
Okay.
And they brawl around some more in the ringside area, and actually seemed like they were starting to go over time because Randy's on top of Drew after he bellied to back him on the announce table doing some ground and pound, and the show just ends.
Yeah, I feel like
the Snoop Dogg Corona commercial.
I kind of feel like they're just going to do. I think Vince really likes the WCW endings. That's what I got the feeling. I didn't think that was supposed to be like a definitive finish, like they did last week, where it was like, oh, what's going to happen now? Vince is all about the cliffhangers now, man.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Anyways, let's we have some time here. Let's answer
a few questions.
Yeah. I got
gaming with
Patreon
Cage over here, and I'll be a Twitch guy.
Do Twitch now.
Gaming with Cage says, clearly Mercedes was the one that made Retribution super powerful. Ali can't even balance it out, and Cedric made Hurt Business go from jobbers to winners. So the key is to get Cedric or Mercedes on your team.
I still think it was Malcolm Bivens. I think when they were like a lot smaller, and I'm pretty sure he was a member, it was either him or Jesse Kamea or maybe Chelsea Green. Because that's when they were. I think
they were all involved at some point.
I think they were. That's when they were at their strongest. Before any of the current crop were even part of it.
See, I'm just trying to do something has it right. It says it's crazy because Face Ali would have tried to take on all of Hurt Business.
I know.
100%.
Yeah. Alex Foster, if one of you had held the Money in the Bank briefcase, would you give the other a title shot after winning the belt? So if you held the Money in the Bank briefcase and I won the belt.
No. I cashed in. I'm champion now.
Oh, wow.
But since we're friends, do I grant my friend a title shot? What have you done to earn it?
Okay. I beat a bunch of people?
Have you, though?
Yes.
Who? Jobbers? Not impressed.
Bob Lashley.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Andrew in a handicap match.
Okay. Well, guess what? You got to face them again. Another handicap match. Win that, then you get a title shot.
Okay, fair enough. If it was opposite and I had the title and you're on Money in the Bank, I would call my lawyer and have you transfer to another brand. No title shot for you. And that other brand is called Main Event.
You should be scared of me. It's part of the Raw brand, man. Dang MQ says Asuka was great in the New Day segment. Asuka is third member of New Day confirmed.
Yeah, she's terrific. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. We got to mention this. Gregory asks, how great was Jordan's turtletneck attire tonight? Oh, it was great.
Oh, man.
It was
off
great.
The charts.
That dude looks like $1 trillion. Let's see here.
Zine Zeus, New Day, and Street Profits were friends 2 weeks ago. Now they're acting like they've been feuding since Mania.
Oh, that was just some
friendly crap
ribbon.
Talk.
Yeah. It's not like it's the Usos and New Day here.
JT Savage says, why couldn't they just do this chaos angle with sanity? I hate how they just throw together factions we don't want and destroy factions we do like.
It's like, question. I mean, they know what we like, and then they decide to not use them properly.
But since we're upset about it, they're winning.
That's the Retribution's thing, yeah. Mr. Sinister, should AJ and Finn start up their version of Bullet Club with Jordan being their bad luck valet?
Oh, that'd be great.
You'd be like scraping the ceiling of Thunderdome if you do the thing where Finn gets on Jordan's shoulders.
That'd be pretty great, though. Dan Daniels III thinks Bianca Belair is going to get Team SmackDown the win. Could be.
I love the scenario of Lana getting that win, though, because it's a pretty big stage, pretty big deal. She's earned it. She deserves it. It's probably going to be Nia's just going to take her out with a table spot, though.
Oh, so Die Hard Homer mentions this. Sorry to interrupt. I read about this today, that Tucker's profile is back on the SmackDown roster on WWE.com.
Oh. Well, maybe just kayfabe it. Just give us a reason for that happening.
Something. Have to say Tucker requests to go back to SmackDown so we can be up on notice. That's enough. Just give me that.
Yeah.
Give me some explanation.
Yeah. Rain Trigger with Roman versus Jay being an I Quit match mixed with Hell in a Cell. What other match types would be a cool combination? You called it yesterday. Hell in a Cell, Inferno match.
Yeah. I'm just trying to do something. Says I can see Angel Garza and Nia Jax being like Chyna and Eddie.
Yeah, that could be fun. That would be fun.
I think that would be fun.
How about this for matches? An Iron Man table match, where you know how in a tables match you got to go through a table. Well, you have 60 minutes to go through the most number of tables.
That sounds horrible.
That sounds amazing, to be honest with you.
As a viewer, yes. As a wrestler, that sounds horrible.
Oh, awful.
Horrible. Crossface Chicken Stain says, I remember the question from a past video of someone losing a title before Survivor Series. Could Sami Zayn be the one to lose, maybe to Daniel Bryan? It's a possibility, but I don't think they're adverse to revisiting the Zayn Lashley thing. It kind of poke fun at how bad the creative was.
Oh, I think they'll revel in it. Given that they're both in a much better spot, they will have fun with it. I can believe that. Rich here actually has a pretty decent explanation for why NXT is not there, and it's one that's pretty obvious. COVID.
Oh,
he says, are we to assume won't be Raw, SmackDown, NXT Survivor Series since NXT had the COVID scare and they don't want to mix rosters? That is entirely possible. Yeah. That is very likely, actually.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Nope. Nope. Sort of talked about that already. Hoodlum.
Jorge D says, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hoodlum Joe Bro, would Miz cashing in during the Orton Roman match backfire, or will the cash in be saved for 2021? Boy, that's playing with fire. If you're in kayfabe, if you're Miz, you stay away from that match.
Unless you have Randy and Roman involved, the potential for Drew to be out there, Bray to be out there.
Fiend, yeah.
Now you could say, well, as you mentioned earlier, if Miz perhaps knows how to swim in those particular type of waters. That being said, there's a lot of people out there that are way overpowered than the Miz involved in that.
Now, if you want to be ready, because if somehow with all that chaos, Randy is left laying after 3 spears, 3 Superman punches, a Sister Abigail, and 3 Claymores, and they're all cleared out and Randy's laying there, you run like hell and you try it. But Randy's scary.
He is scary. Jorge D with the abrupt endings. What other WCW Nitro tropes would you guys like for Vince to bring back?
Oh, wow.
Robin Hood.
Well, that was
Bring
just
it
the
back.
show that happened after. He has no control over that.
Sure, he can make a phone call at USA Network
And say, I want to bring back Robin
Yeah,
Hood.
Raw's USA's highest rated program. He's got sway.
Not programming over the network, Sway. They'd be like,
All right,
we're doing.
WWE Films new TV show Robin Hood with Patrick Bergen. Done.
Do you know how cheap Crisley is to film? That is like the cheapest shit. That's like what airs after Raw, isn't it?
All right, fine. Cast Chris Lee as Robin Hood then.
Or Modern Family reruns. That's like, wait. That's good. I like that. Todd. Hey, what is it? Who's the guy? Lil Jon? Is that the guy?
Lil Jon, yeah.
Hey, Lil Jon. We're going to paint some naked ladies today.
Trilly says Ali has really good heel face. What are some other heels who show it well on their facial expressions? Roman's got best heel face.
He's got a great heel because he's got the
Holy
fake,
shit.
He's got the fake teeth.
Well, it's because he doesn't. I didn't notice this during the match, but I saw on Twitter that after the match he wiped away his tears and like kind of brushed them off.
Oh, I love it. That's
great. It
great.
Was so good.
He's been taking
good.
In kayfabe, he's been taking acting classes to mess with people. Let's see here. We'll do one more and then we'll call it a day, but we'll stick around for the Twitch crowd. Dero Hayes says, will WWE fix the Fiend and Randy's WrestleMania match and have Bliss pick up the Raw Women's Championship to build a new power couple? I hope that's where this is going. Mm-hmm. I think that could be really, I don't know about Mania. That's kind of far away, but yeah, I think you could redo that stupid Mania match, make something really cool out of those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Anyways, that's it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some more of your questions. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson.